Welcome again during the videos that missed us about the most important basics of dealing with Qualcomm processors for Android bondage devices in general. Whether it is Huawei, Xiaomi, Samsung, or any Android brand, it has a Qualcomm processor, and we knew the ways to deal with it from the beginning. We said that Qualcomm treatments are generally one of the best processors in the market currently, and most importantly, they have stronger and higher protections than the rest of the other processors. Unlike, for example, MediaTek processors, which we can handle easily because of the presence of some of the smalls on them, which are used by some tolls by placing Perum or placing Brillator. Consequently, we could carry out most of the operations on MediaTeks easily, but for the protection of Qualcomm processors, especially those on modern devices and models, the delay in dealing with some faults in operations on toll software, such as format, screening, or FRP protection, due to modern protection patches that download on modern models. And whoever needs us to be authenticated, because the process takes place, but during the CAM of the month they missed, new updates appeared to deal with some of the treatments, which were protected, and it was difficult to deal with them. Because of the failure of authentication operations, and many of them remain supported by most tolls, and the authentication operations are currently being successful without using any custom external loader files. And let us in the lecture, we know what new in the updates and what happened during the period that missed. This is until the date of the lecture was raised in the 6th month of 20-4, and at the end of the video we will answer with each other the most important questions that you can ask for yourself and which concerns the support of Qualcomm processors. And if you allow the one who is in your hands and the enlargement of the screen and focus with me and to understand the topic is good, then let us divide the development that took place in the form of successive stages. The first stage was to support dealing with some Samsung and modern models and support for its FRP protection operations on toll software through the modified cable, which you can do by making it yourself in easy and simple steps, and we explained everything related to this topic inside a lecture. How to make an EDL cable for Samsung Qualcomm devices and try it on school tablets, and if you did not see the lecture, go back again. In order to understand the topic is good and know how you can work the modified cable to enter the EDL mode without the test point, and during this stage a large group of Samsung devices was supported and the quantity of its models and its accusations. Most of the software tools and I kept you can deal with this modified models through the modified cable only and without you need to connect any points of test point Albert, and also without what you need for any external loader files. Without using any paid server services, and of course this stage was an important leap in dealing with brand Samsung Qualcomm, and the Samsung Qualcomm models remained consecutive. On the tolls updates, this was the first stage, which was updated on the tolls, and Samsung models are supported by new versions and different protection. And the second stage came shortly after a period of time, and different Qualcomm processors were supported, the most important of which is the Qualcomm processor with a number in 50. The most important and most famous models that bear this processor was the Samsung AXS Mobile with its various models numbers. And I can be able to deal with me most of the tolls currently after the recent updates and work to overpower the FRP, whether through the modified cable or through the test point. Because the mobile enters with you to put EDL and the protection is overcome easily and quickly, without using any external loader files. Before that, we were dealing with this model through the paid server services because all its smalls were closed and it was not supported by all the regular tolls, but currently he remained dealing with it easily and you are pressed by a button through the USB cable and without using any paid server services. This was the second stage, and in the next stage, a few days later, a second group of Android Qualcomm, including brand Oppo and brand Realme, was supported. Any Sir, and the Oppo Any7 model, who was involved in them. Zuvid Box or Easy Getag, or using some paid tolls that work through the creed, such as Android Malat Toll. A series and A7 and the rest. And sorry to protect the FRP for these treatments, but currently most Thales' software after the recent updates supported the models and supported their processors, and we stayed easily. We can work for her formation or bypassing FRP. Without the need for GIM and also without the need to use paid server services. This happens when we are busy with the tool that we have and that supported the mobile processor in updates. We choose the mobile model from the models supported on the tool, and then we go to the mobile, and we will enter the recovery position in a normal way through the sound keys. By connecting the mobile to the USB cable, and we are sure before it is to install the Qualcomm definitions on the computer, and from inside the mode of the recovery in the mobile, we descend under sincere and press more than once on the word virgin in 2 and 2. To the extent that the message that is before us appears to us and tells us that we will enter this situation and the code, which is the EDL situation, so we will cover on OK, and then we will notice that the mobile is locked with power and entered the status of EDL directly. He knew with us the computer in Device Manager inside the pillar of the compiler ports and the time we can implement any mobile operation on the tool, whether it remains the formate process in the factory is usually controlled by the factory, or the process of RASIT FRP and the embarrassment of a Google account from the mobile and the tool after that begins to implement the process to the end and without any errors on it due to the failure of the authentication process. Like what was happening with us a long time before the updates of this, and the same way we can implement them on the rest of the Oppo Qualcomm devices, which were supported in the new and practical updates. You will be easily and quickly with us and with a button. And it is not the need for any GETation boxes, and this was the next stage and the next development to support Qualcomm processors, and in the fourth stage. Dealing with a large group of its devices has been supported by Xiaomi models, which are related to the Qualcomm processors, and I was able to deal with this models on most tools currently. Through the USB cable and without using any exterior loader files, because most of the tools are currently supporting the free automatic authentication operations of the models, and before that we were to deal with it. We needed paid services and programs and work by charging the creed on it, so that we can exceed the authentication of the online devices through the server, and after that we deal with it on the tool. Whether we remain, we will miss it, or we will delete the protection of the FRP from it, but now we are able to deal with it on most of the tools that we have after the updates. And for free and without using any other paid programs in order to exceed the authentication process, and of course the value of the models in a continuous update means every period that is supported by new models. Modern protection patches are also supported in tools software updates, like the Anshul tool, and MT-WAFT, and the rest of the tools. These are the stages, developments and updates that took place on the software tools regarding dealing with Android bonds that have Qualcomm processors during the CAM that they missed. Consequently, you must understand the development that happened, the bonds and the models that were supported, because if you came to any of the mobile phones that were supported in the updates, you can easily deal with them on the software tools that you have. Okay, just now, how many questions we want to answer with each other regarding the updates, so that you understand the topic is good. And the first question is, how can I know the new updates of boxes and tools? And the second question, which is the benefit of the updates now with models that remain old, the Oppo SS and Samsung LE20s. Was the process of opening the bottler for Qualcomm processors in this new updates? The fourth question, which is the tool that supports new updates and the operations for Android Qualcomm? Let us answer these questions and start with the first question. To follow the new updates for all the software in general, your way is more than a way. In the first and easiest way, which is that most of the tools are currently supporting the automatic update, I mean, if you attended the performance you have. And for you, for example, Dungel Pro, you will show you a message that there is a new update, and you will find in the message the most important additions, features, and new support in the update. Then you can press the word update, and the version that you have is very simple. so that you can then use the new features and additions that were supported in the update, and the same thing is that you can.
It applies to most of the currently existing software, whether Octopus FRP, Unlock Tool, or the rest of the second tools.
The second method is that you will go to the hosting forum, and you will give you the link with this lecture with this, and you will go down inside the forum. To some extent, you go to the software products department, and here you will find all the tools and products in the hosting market, and you can now choose the product that you have and see its latest updates and support, or you can save yourself and look above in the forum and go to a section or department of news and updates, and inside this section you will find the latest updates that have been launched for all the software products that are located inside the hostage market, and you can browse it and see the latest updates and support for the product or the tool that you have, and the same thing is this. It applies to the Mart Vio forum and who is able. For all the products and tools of the software in which it is present, and then browsing and carrying the update of the tool that you have, the most important and fastest ways you can know about new updates for all the software products and tools in general. Okay, let us go to the second question. This is the reason, and the first reason is that the support in general will be more customized for the processor, not for a particular mobile model. Thus, any other models that have the same processor with the same number, so you will meet them supported by the tool, even if the mobile brand itself differs or the name and number of the mobile model differed. The second reason is that these models are, although they are old, as we said, but we do not see that we are in Zaben and have very much work with them. The market is full of hundreds of thousands of devices and models due with users, especially in the Arab countries, and therefore the devices will come to you a lot with customers and clients. Instead of what you were working on the gym or using paid server services, you have been able to do it for free on the tools that you have and using a USB cable only and with a button press. Without any increase in the costs, although the models can be old, but their support for tolls is very important, and it is certain that it will benefit many technicians. Okay, let us go to the question, the next. Oh Pasha, currently all the support and update that has been made for Android devices and the operations of the firm and the protection of the FRP, but it is still not to support the operations of opening the bootloader for models and remedies, but it is possible for the period that comes. Bootloader operations are supported, as format operations and FRP protection inspiring operations are support. The dealing with it will be more difficult than the rest of the other operations, especially for Qualcomm processors in general, unlike MediaTek processors, which was more easier and faster, but we do not know the days that come in it. Will the process of opening the bootloader or not? Okay, let us go to the fourth question. Most of the tools, I have the same updates and remain almost the same operations for Qualcomm processors, including AIO or all-in-one tools, such as Unlock Tool, Dongle Left Pro, Hydra, in addition to some other tools devoted to deal with Qualcomm processors, such as the QC Fire tool, the UMT, and the Qualcomm tool for box and dongle. It is only a sample of the tools that the updates of Qualcomm's processors, but as usual, all the operations will be supported for Qualcomm processors on the rest of the tools, but gradually and with the passage of time. And if you have any tool that supports Qualcomm processors, you can see the latest updates available to them in the ways that we explained from a little. It will be conducive to the process of operations and the support of authentication operations for Qualcomm processors, which was not supported before, for free. And we are aware of the most important new updates for Qualcomm processors, which were supported on Tools software recently. And as we have said that the updates are up to the date of the 6th month of 20-4, it is possible after that. Other processors, models and operations are supported, and if it happens, we will surely do a new lecture, and we will explain the most important features and additions that were supported in new updates, God willing. And let us complete our words and explain in the video that comes, God willing, peace.